right, we're going to go to the end of the practice test while making a note card. We're going to work from the back forward because there's some really important stuff here at the end of the chapter. So as far as I get with the B crew today, tomorrow A group, we will work from there forward so that, like you guys tomorrow, if you want at home, if you want to finish this and finish your note card, that's what we'll do tomorrow. If we get back to 20, I'll go 19 back to 1 with them. So both of you two, good idea tomorrow would be log on to this site and finish this up so you have a full note card before your test. And the whole practice test is done. You might have other homework to do as well. But I'm working on tests right now. All right, so on your note card, I think you should do it from the bottom up. So the stuff at the end of your test is at the bottom of your note card, so it's gonna be kind of weird. But take out your note card and on the very bottom, and we'll work from the bottom up. When you're deciding if lines are parallel or perpendicular or neither, okay? So I want you to write parallel on your note card, perpendicular, we'll just write perp, or neither. It'll be the last questions on your test. They'll be similar to these, but you have to decide how to figure it out. So the first thing you need to do, number 1, to decide, actually let's put a question here so you know that this is, when you're asked this on your test, Lily, whether they're parallel, perpendicular, or neither, the first thing you need to do is solve for y. Okay, so I'll show you what I mean as we do 31. Am I going too fast or are we good? So we'll go do number 31. This one is solved for y, so I don't need to do any work. This one is not. Okay, so this guy I have to deal with before I can answer the question.
Can you write that down?
We'll write something down, but we can't do an example. So, but we will write down what we need to do. So the first one, solve for y, that's fine. The second one, I need to subtract the x term off. Now, if the x term was negative, Lily, I'd need to add it. Okay, you have to do the opposite. So I now have y equals, and I have a negative 1/3 x plus the 8. You could do 8 minus 1/3 x, but I like to do it this way so it's in the correct form. All right, so back to the note card. You're going to have y equals mx plus b. If you have a highlighter, it'd be really smart to highlight that m, but if you don't, I'd circle it because the m's in control of parallel, perpendicular, and neither. So if you don't have a highlighter, you have one here. I'm going to give you a yellow marker there. It's that number in front of the x that we're concerned with. So let's go back up to number 31. For the first line, there was a 3 in front of the x. So I want you to write m equals 3. For the second line, there was a negative 1/3 in front. So I want you to write m equals negative 1/3. Any questions so far? Lily, the first one was easy peasy because it was solved for y. I just grabbed that number in front of the x. The second one wasn't, so it was positive, so I subtracted it and I grabbed the number in front of the x. You're going to write yourself a little note on your note card now. Number 2. If equal, then parallel. Were ours equal, Lily? No, so you're not going to write parallel. If opposite flips. I'm not going to even write the word reciprocal. Let me tell you what I mean by opposite flips. Opposite means their signs are different. Like if these were both negative, they're not opposite. So they have to have different signs. And it has to be flipped over. And when you take 3/1 and flip it over, don't you get 1/3? These two numbers are called opposite flips. And I'll put a couple other examples. 2/7 and -7/2. Those are opposite flips. Does that make sense, Eric?
Mhm.
The number 5, and if I flip it, I get 1/5. Boom. Opposite flips. So that's what these are. And that means then perpendicular. So the answer to number 31 is perpendicular. So box that in. But then also write if neither, then neither. All right, so we'll go do number 32. So you're either going to be writing parallel, perpendicular, or neither. All right, so let's go up to number 32 and follow the steps on your note card. If 32 is on your test and if it said parallel, perpendicular, or neither, you would solve it for y. You'd have to do it on both of them because neither one of them says y equals. Right, Lily? So we have to go up here on both of these. So I'm going to write the 2x plus 3y equals 5 over here. And I need to solve it for y. So we're going to follow this step. So I need to get rid of the 2x. It's positive, so I'll subtract it. I'm going to add up this way and say negative 2x plus 5. Or you could say 5 minus 2x. It just depends. My Algebra 2 kids like to have it already in the correct form. Now, Eric, the only thing in the way is that 3. How am I going to get rid of it? How do I get rid of multiplying by 3? Divide. Yep, so I'm going to divide every term by 3. And Lily, honestly, you don't really need to do any more because these are going to cancel, right? It's this that I want to look at. See how we highlighted it? We want that number in front of the x. So that's line number 1 in black. The other line, I want you to go solve it for y. I'm going to do it right on here. But how will I move the negative 3x over, Lils? Add it, yep. So you can go like that,
Three.
and you're going to get 2, oops, sorry, what am I doing? 3x. I was looking at that 4 on the other side, thank you. Plus 3x plus 3x. So then those will be gone, and I'll get 2y equals, and you can write 4 plus 3x, but I like writing 3x plus 4. We good? And then how am I going to get rid of the 2? Go ahead and tell me. How will I get rid of this 2? That would if it was y plus 2, but it's 2 times y. Yep, so we'll divide everything through by a 2. They'll go here, and now I have my other slope. So we have to decide. So the 2 slopes we're looking at, Eric, are this one for the blue line and that one for the black line. So, are they equal? No. Right, Lily? They're not equal. Are they opposites? Yes. One's positive, one's negative. Have they been flipped? Yes. So this is another perpendicular. They gave you 2 perpendicular ones on there. All right, next up. On your note card, you're going to write equation for lines. Okay? And we've got 2 things that we're going to have to do. One of them is parallel, and we'll take care of that one first. And then we'll do the perpendicular one. So we'll cover both 30 and 29. Equations for lines that are parallel. You ready? All right. If lines are parallel, they have the same slope. So we're going to go right here and write same slope. So we're going to go over here. And let's go look at number 29, actually, because that's the parallel one. All right. So it says, what is the equation for the line parallel to? And it's already solved for y, which is nice. right? So Lily, it's all about the slope. What is the slope of that line? 2, okay? Boom. A parallel line has the same slope, so you're just going to steal it. You're going to write m equals 2, okay? So you get to just steal it. You might want to write that on your note card. You might want to write steal it. Do you get why? They have to run parallel. They have to have the same slopes. Now, I also have to make sure I go through this point, and this is kind of where I think I need to see your notes. Did you take notes on this section? One of you? You have it in your note packet. This would be 3.8.
3.8? No.
You don't have them?
Yeah.
Lily, you do? I just want to see it because there's 2 ways to do this, and I want to do it the way your teachers taught you to do it in the notes. So go all the way to the end. It'll be the last day that you took off. Thank you. So I want to see. Okay, they did teach point slope, so that's great. All right, perfect. All right, so when you write the equation for the line, you do this. Y minus the y you know, and I call that the 6. It's y minus the y you know is equal to the slope, which we're just stealing, times x minus the x you know. And you get to be done. So let's go over here, back to our note cards. After we steal the slope, number 2, the second thing we did is we did this. Y minus the y you were given. So I'm going to write sub-given. I think that'll help. You know what I mean by the y value you were given? This is an x, this is a y, you were given the 6. Is equal to that slope that you stole times the x minus the x you were given. I'm going to see if we have any questions on that. Eric, are you caught up with writing, or are you still writing? Okay, so take a look, Lily, and one more time. It said a line parallel, and then I needed its equation. So I go to my note card and I find equations for lines parallel, right? They have the same slope, so you steal it. They had this one, you told me had a slope of 2, so I stole it to make sure they run both with a slope of 2. Then I write y minus the y I was given. Well, they gave me a 6. Is equal to that slope that we stole times x minus the x we were given. Does that make sense? The only difference when it says perpendicular is, even though Lily's going to tell me the slope of this line is 3, for perpendicular they need to be opposite and flipped. So I don't, if it said parallel, I go m equals 3, but I need to make sure it's opposite and I need to flip it. So what do I get when I flip 3? What do you think? It's currently 3 over 1. 1/3. Yep, 1/3. So over here, by the parallel, do you have room to write or? Perpendicular, we'll just write perp. The only difference is you don't get to steal the slope. You have to take the opposite, flip. So let's write opposite. If it's negative, you make it positive. If it's positive, you make it negative. Opposite and flip. I'm giving you all of 3-7 and 3-8 in 15 minutes. Are we good? How are we doing? All right, guys. So let's follow our directions. You get to your test and it says, what's the equation of the line perpendicular? And you're going to go to equations for lines. And you're going to go over here, perpendicular. And you're going to say, well, I got to do the slope is the opposite. That's positive. This is negative, and I need to flip it. But then I write the exact same thing. So I go y minus the y I was given. What do you think is considered the y you were given? The 5. Yep, is equal to that slope that I didn't steal this time, because that's if it's a parallel, right? Times the x minus the x I was given. And what's the x I was given? Yeah, so be x minus -6 or +6. What do you think? All right, now it'll go a little faster. We're going to move back up. Oh, we're going to go back a page, I guess. And we're going to go to the bottom. And I'm hoping to get up to 21 here. This says AB contains points A and B. Okay, so this requires on your note card. Are you ready? Slope equals M equals. I'm going to tell you how to get the slopes. Okay? You're going to subtract y over subtract x's. And write that on your note card. Just make sure you subtract them in order. Are you ready? Let me know when you're ready. We'll go do 26, 27, probably just 26. Because again, parallel, the slopes are the same. Perpendicular, they're opposite flips. All right, so we need to look at line AB, so I'm only going to focus on these 2 points. And I'm going to go M equals, find a slope. I'm going to subtract the y's. Which values are the y values? And, yes, so I'm going to go -8 minus 2 over. And then I'm going to subtract the x's. Make sure you go in that same direction. 3 minus 0. All right? You're going to clean it up as a -10 over 3. And that doesn't get any better, so you're going to leave it. That's the slope of line AB. It was -10/3 for number 26. Correct? Then what I'm going to do is go grab the other 2 points. And I'm going to do the same thing, Lily. I'm going to subtract the y's. Which ones are the y's? The y's.
Oh, 6 and 3.
Yep. So I'll go 6 minus 3 over 5 minus 2. And I get a slope of 3 over 3, which is 1, right? So this one was 1. So here's how you answer the question. If they were the same number, you'd write parallel, or not write parallel. If they were opposites, which they are, one's negative, one positive, and flipped, which they're not. When I flip 10/3, what do I get? 3/10. I don't get 1. So this would be one where you say neither. Okay? And that's how you're going to do 27 and 28. You're just going to find the slopes. All right, so we're going to go back up here. Next thing on your note card. For 24, 25, you're going to write slope, intercept, form of a line. You're going to write this. Y equals mx plus b. Good with that? This is the slope. This is the y-intercept. So we'll point at them. Next, do you know how on our note card you're going to draw an arrow? We wrote to get the slope, you subtract the y's over subtract the x's, right? You're going to go take your highlighter and you're going to connect this down to that formula. So you know that you need to find the slope by subtracting y's over subtracting the x's, unless they give it to you. Okay? So we're going to do number 24. Did they tell you what the slope is? Yes, so write m equals -2. Did they tell you what the y-intercept is? Yep, so you're going to write b equals 8. You have to get both of those. 24 is easy because they gave them both to you. So you're going to go write y equals mx plus b. And that's your answer. That's easy, right, Eric?
Oh, yeah.
It was easy because they gave you the m. You might want to highlight these so you know those are the 2 numbers you need. You need the m, you need the b. 24, they gave them both to me, right? 25, they didn't give me either one. So what I need to do is go find the slope. So you're going to follow your arrow to here. And what are you going to do to figure out what the slope is? Subtract the y's. So you're going to go 4 minus 2 over. And you're going to subtract the x's. Negative 10 minus negative 6. So you're going to subtract the y's and get a 2. You're going to subtract the x's and be careful because it's negative 10 minus a negative 6. So you're really adding. You're going to get a 2 over negative 4. And you're going to simplify it. Does that simplify? What do you think? It does, right? So it's negative 1/2. This didn't say what form to put the line in. It just says what's an equation of the line, right? So for this one, I think I would use what you wrote on your note card for the y minus the y you're given is equal to, okay, so we're going to write that by this one. It's called point slope form. We already wrote it once on our note cards, but that's okay. Point slope form goes like this. Y minus the y you were given. And your teacher would have said y2 minus y1, but I like this better because you know which one to put where. Is equal to the slope times x minus the x you were given. I'm just going to write give because I can't quite get it. On your note card. So we've got two forms of a line. We've got slope intercept form, which we just used. You have the M and the B, go there. And we have point slope form, which we're going to do right now. On number 25, and then I think I will get 21 and 22 in, so. Is this helpful?
Yeah.
If it is, I would watch the video that I do with the A group tomorrow because we'll work towards the front. All right, here we go. So it says, what is the equation of the line passing through? You have two forms. You have slope y-intercept or point slope form. I put a little star by this one because it's easier. So if they don't tell you what form to put it in, do that one. So here it goes. We already found the slope, right? So you pick either point, whichever one you like better. I always like to pick the smaller numbers. So I'm going to go there. So I now have a point right there, and I now have a slope. So I go like this, y minus the y you were given. What's the y you were given on this point right here? 2. Is equal to the slope, we just found it, times x minus the x you were given. Be careful because it's x minus negative 6. So what are you guys going to write? X plus 6, correct? All right, I am going to finish these two. How much time do I have? Oh, I still have time. All right, so now when it says just find the slope, on your note card, you already wrote what the slope is. Go tell me, find on your note card what you're going to use when it just says the slope.
Y.
Just the slope. On your note card, somewhere you wrote slope equals, yep, m, which equals what? You have it on your note. Subtract the y's over subtract the x's. So on these points right here, your y's are 5 and a negative 1. So you're just going to say 5 minus negative 1. The x's are 1 and 5. So you're going to say 1 minus 5. Just said the slope. So you go to your note card where we wrote slope equals m, and we did subtract the y's over subtract the x's. And we get a 6 over negative 4. Why a 6? Yeah, it's the double negative, so be careful with that. Also, this reduces to 3 and 2. And remember, slope is rise over 1, so I am going down 3 over 2, down 3 over 2, down 3 over 2. It looks good, right? Now the other one, I'm still finding the slope. I just don't have a graph, but it doesn't matter. I'll still subtract the y's. 4 minus 12. And I'll subtract the x's. 7 minus 5. I'll clean it up. get a negative 8 over 2. And you'll get a negative 4. Does that make sense, you guys?
How do you go back down?
Yes, there's one more thing I want to write on here, though. On your note card, write this. If m equals 0 over any number, then your answer is 0. 0 divided by anything is 0. So what I mean by that is, had this been a 4, Eric, you would have done y minus y, and you would have had a 0 on the top and a 2 on the bottom. So you would have said the slope 0. If you get any number over a 0, so let's change this, and let's suppose this one had been a 5, and Eric's on the test on Thursday, and he goes, oh, it's asking me for slope. I subtract the y's, 4 minus 12, and I subtract the x's. He's going to go, what do I do with the 0? And he's going to go to his note card and say, oh, when there's a 0 on the bottom, you write undefined. And slope is steepness. It's like a hill. And when you have undefined, it means the line was vertical. And so you can't even drive your car on that. This has you can't talk about what the slope of this hill is, because if you try to drive your car or your bike on this, you're falling off of it, right? But this one you can drive your car on very easily, but you don't have any steepness to it. So this guy has a slope of 0. And this is what happens with the numbers. This guy is undefined, and that's what happens with the numbers. All right? So that was it for all of 3.6 to 3.8. The other stuff is all about all the angle things, and that's what I'm going to cover with the A group, okay, tomorrow. So I'll make a video about this long, working from 21 towards number 1. We'll get there because it's not as hard as stuff. You guys got the hard stuff. All right? Your test is on Thursday, right? So be ready. You guys can go to lunch.